Audio's a little.
Hey everybody, welcome to KF&JF podcast. You know, I'm the host, Keith, and I'm so excited to have you guys here today. We have somebody on our show today that is a very special gentleman, and I'm telling you, I can't wait for you guys to get to know him. Everything about him is great. Looking forward to having a great show with him today. But again, I want to thank everybody for all that you do to support the show and keeping KF&JF podcast on the move. Today, we're going to go ahead on and get started, and let's get started with our co-host, Razak.
Greetings. My name is Razak. I am the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My purpose is to help small businesses grow. This means I will assist with the creative process and maintenance of your business. The method to achieve results is simply building a deeper relationship with your customers. I do this by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate with your followers, subscribers, and other business owners. By using a wide range of networking tools, we will have an understanding for building your business profile, what type of social media marketing fits your productivity and your availability, and building your financial profile, branding your services, product, or merchandise. Together, we may also determine what type of license is needed to operate your business. And does your budget permit the ownership of your own domain or buying into pre-existing sites that host your page? I like to drive traffic by managing your website. This allows me to work with you to select posts that create subscriptions, comments, and likes. I also assist by generating comments on other individual business sites or a page that create a dialogue of conversation directed towards your page. I also assist with the creation of the content on your media site. This will be a collaboration of ideas which will reflect on your brand, your work ethics, and the community's need to know what you have to offer them to bring a better quality of comfort to their lives and lifestyle. I can also assist with the writing of content, directing your videos, the editing process, and publishing them on various sites for marketing purposes, advertising, and promotional value.
You know, again, like I say every time, you like to thank Razak for all he does to try to help out the small business and uplift them and give them an opportunity to be able to bring their business to the forefront, help them to be able to strive for all of the things that they want to do to succeed. And we do appreciate and thank him a lot for that. But enough of the formalities. Let's get right to this show, man. This show is going to be awesome. So let this gentleman introduce himself for you. Here he is, the one, the only.
Well, my name is John Demps. Hello, greetings, everyone. I'm the founder of the Demps Full Effect band. We operate out of the Inland Valley. We play at a lot of different venues, so hopefully we've met. And if not, I'd like to meet all of you soon. Basically, the group started about 11 years ago, somewhere around that time frame. Prior to that, I was basically a solo artist in the community. I did a lot of local jam sessions and single man shows, that kind of thing. And to this date, the band has been rolling. We've been staying pretty busy. We've met a lot of people, played a lot of shows, and we just enjoy what we do. And I'm surrounded by a cast of wonderful guys in the band: Ron Jones, Andre Smith, Andre Howie, Hugh Laxanetta. They are my co-band members, and we've been around for a minute, like I said, and we just really enjoy bringing entertainment to the local area. and surrounding areas. So if there's anything else you want to know, just go ahead and let's start the interview.
Well, for sure, I'm going to do that because there's a lot more I want to know, and everybody about everything that's going on.
Yeah, I don't want to take all the meat off the plate for it. Give you some questions.
It's your time to shine, so we're just here to help make sure that the light is bright. That's all. We want to make sure that. Right. So let me know with one of my first questions here, something that's unique about you, something most people don't know that you carry, how you carry yourself, or what are some of the things that you hold tight to you that may help people understand you a little bit more and help our audience get to know you.
Okay, starting with the family. Once again, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and my mother, my father, John Demps, my mother, Renee. Well, her name is Kierce now. And my two sisters, Kimberly and Danielle. We basically grew up in a musical household. We were like a traveling gospel group when I was younger. We sang at churches and convalescent centers, and things of that variety, and just learned to sing harmony together, and that really just sparked my interest in the music community as a whole, because we were, again, in Detroit, which was Motown, and it was right at the height of Motown, at the height of their powers, I would say. So we were like just surrounded by incredible music throughout the house, throughout the community, from gospel to R&B, and the Motown sound. And basically, after that, my mother ended up marrying my stepfather, who was in the Navy, and I basically became a Navy brat. So we traveled all over the United States, and went from Michigan to Florida to Virginia to Washington State, then to California, and then for a short stint, I moved back to Virginia, and then back here presently to California, and basically just been in love with music the whole time. I played in many, many bands. I lost track of how many. I think one time I estimated it's probably about 30 different musical situations between bands and small groups, large groups. Just kind of been living the music journey. I also do have a day job. I'm a welder and a sheet metal mechanic. Started in the shipyard back in, I won't date myself what year it was, but and learned basically sheet metal and welding, and that was an interesting journey, and I'm still on that journey somewhat. Looking to eventually become a full-time musician / recording artist. I've dabbled in that several times. That's something that's a work in progress right now. So I hope that brings you up to speed.
Well, that's good, man. We're going to get into some of those things. I really do appreciate you laying some foundation for that, because my next question is that, with all the places that you've been through, from traveling as a Navy brat and being able to, have that music come through you through church and different things that you've done through that avenue, what have you seen, in these different places that you've been to? Do you find music to be like, I know Motown is Motown, but when California is California, but how do you transition through all of those different areas with your music and your tone? Or have you tried to keep that unique to yourself? Because you sound unique.
So now that's an interesting question. I'm kind of glad you asked it too, because basically, the roots were gospel and Motown. And I guess around the time I got into high school, the friends I was hanging with, they were musicians, and we formed our little, I won't call them, I guess you could call them garage bands. Sometimes we played in the living room rather than the parents' garage or whatever. It's usually like us young kids were just borrowing our parents' houses to have our little band rehearsals in hopes of eventually getting a show. So we made a lot of bad music, but it was all a learning process, and it was a lot of fun too. So basically, as far as all that to say, starting out with R&B and gospel was just the most solid foundation I could ever ask for. Just the rich tones of soul music, they just reverberate through the planet, maybe through the universe. Just a wonderful culture when it comes to music. But when I got to high school, I was introduced to rock and roll, which is probably some of the uniqueness you hear in my style, because when I started listening to bands like Journey and a lot of different rock bands, Foreigner, Rush, those types of bands, and it just, the music kind of just, the first time I heard a rock song, I mean, really heard it, it kind of blew my mind, and it was so different than R&B that I was kind of drawn into that culture as well, as far as musically. I loved the guitar playing and the drumming, the bass playing, all of it. And, you just learned the names of the band members and start to follow certain people that you like their technique. There were other genres as well, of course, like jazz and that kind of thing. But basically, I just fell in love with a different form of music, so I kind of merged the two together, if you will. So that's probably the uniqueness that you hear. So, instead of being one of the bands that, and no offense to anyone, but some bands are very genre specific, we're more across the board with a lot of different genres. That's why we named the band Full Effect, because you get any genre that you can pretty much imagine that's in popular music. And that's where the unique style comes from.
That's great, man. Because as soon as you said the garage, people play the band in the garage. That's kind of my time, and watching everybody playing in the garage. We used to call them keggers. People used to go have keggers, and there'd be a band in the back.
Yeah, there were occasional keggers there.
Be like a rock band playing. I don't know what the rock band was. I just remember going to one. I'm just like, anyway, that just seems to be a very part of my youth, remembering how I learned. So what type of instrument are you like fluent in, or have you just tried all these different instruments? So how do you balance that, or what instruments that you find to be what's your palette,
Well, I don't want to boast too highly on my instrument playing abilities, because I definitely play well enough to record my own music, but I haven't worked myself up to have the courage to play on stage. So, because I play with such professional cats, they would, put me to shame. But I do play a little bit of guitar, keyboards, drums, and bass. Like I said, well enough to write. So I do record my own material. So basically, that's about it. I dabble around with other instruments, but vocals is my mainstay. I know you hear that. I know you hear some noise in the background. That's the pool
That's
cleaning.
all right. That's all right.
Just came on. I will see if I get somebody to turn the pool thing. Did it go off? Sorry about that. Well, I'll tell you what. When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, everything that could happen is happening.
Everything that can happen. The enemy's mad. He don't want this interview to happen, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure it gets done right, too.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about, you're talking about your instrument abilities, and I know one part of the instrument that you play well is the mic.
That's right.
You run that mic, man. You run it great, man. I see it all the time. So
thank you.
I know you have talents in all those other areas, too. I'm looking forward to seeing that. But I'm going to pass these over to Razak and let him ask you a few questions at this time.
Sure.
All right. Okay. So when it comes to okay, so I know you just mentioned a lot, because I was trying to formulate the way this questions, because you covered a lot right there in those few questions. So if you were running around early in with the going to churches and stuff like that, and now you was talking about the Motown area, then you went into rock and roll. Who would you say would be a mixture of the artist, the gospel, maybe the church that you listened to growing up, that made you, I guess, acquire your actual sound, your singing voice? Because coming from gospel, doing R&B to a rock and roll, that's a lot of mixture in your vocal pitch. So how would you say you learned, I don't know, I guess that would be the word, to develop the ability to hit those different pitches in your songs?
So that's definitely a combination of things. I don't know if you remember this song by a group called Aerosmith called "Dream On." So at the end of the song, the singer, uh, he would hit these high register notes, and I was so fascinated when I heard those notes, because I've heard like females do it before, like Minnie Riperton and so on. Uh, but when I heard a man do a note like that, and it was that song Dream On, high," and he went so high that I just basically was blown away, and I struggled and learned how to do that part. And then later on, I listened to AC/DC, and their singer hits a lot of high notes too, but that's almost his regular register. So I learned how to mimic AC/DC. So I learned how to mimic Aerosmith. And then listening to Steve Perry from Journey, his voice is so smooth, it's like angelic. So whenever I hear a Steve Perry song, it just spoke to me. So I kind of morphed him into my style a little bit. And then on the R&B soul side, it's like there's so many. I mean, I guess if I had to pick a couple of influences, well, for starters, Prince, because he's a heavy influence on me, heavy influence. Just his writing style and his freedom. You know, he's another artist that did blend rock and roll and soul effectively. Rick James did something similar too. But when it comes to my tone, I would say I'd probably be most influenced soul wise from Teddy Pendergrass. There was something so smooth and powerful about his voice, you know, also, you know, his deep, rich tones and his versatility, and so many others, you know, Barry White, Lou Rawls, and gosh, I have so many influences. And even, you know, they weren't all male influences either. Shaka Khan is probably my favorite female vocalist ever. So she had a huge impact on me, who was also with the rock band. Shaka Khan and Rufus, that had a huge impact on me as well. But again, there were so many, too many to name. You know, Stevie Wonder, gosh, you know, even Al Green, and just the list just would go on and on. But I will, excuse me, would like to mention the Clark sisters from the gospel side. James Cleveland, the Clark sisters, LaShawn Pace. There was just so many people. The Winans, you know, just influences everywhere, and I just absorbed as much of the good stuff as I could, you know, and still, you know, to this day I learn from, I guess, you stand on those people's shoulders and you try to piece together your own identity from what you're influenced by. You know, whatever makes you move and gives you shivers, you know, those are the artists that influence me the most, you know.
Right. Man, you named some hitters right there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You was right yeah, you was trying to study up and listen to the right ones, you know.
Yes. Oh, I almost forgot Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
Big influence.
All of them got voices too, you know, just awesome.
Yeah. Can you name a particular song or album that, you know? Okay, so you're getting the influence of all these spectacular vocalists, R&B. You mentioned rock, gospel, and it's kind of forming you into your making your own personality that you have. But is there any, like, I know you say you was kind of mimicking some of the songs, but is there any particular song that actually like molded and shaped you into the performer that you are right now today?
Well, if I had to say one particular influence that affected me greatly, it would have probably be Purple Rain. It was funny. My family, my mom and my two sisters, we'd have family movie night. So each week we'd get to pick a movie, and everyone would have to go basically. And so my sisters picked Purple Rain, and at the time I was looking at Prince's image. I didn't know who he was, and my sister was a big fan. She had his posters on the wall and everything, and me and my baby sister would mock her. Why do you have that guy on your wall? And blah blah blah. We teased her about Prince. I went in a Prince critic and came out a Prince fan. So I'd say that was probably one of the greatest influences musically, as far as like one example. But that he would have had the greatest impact on me. Well, that and Stevie Wonder's not Visions album, the one with the sunburst on the album. I forget what the name of the album right now, but it escapes me. But Stevie Wonder and Prince probably had the two albums that influenced me the most. Songs in the Key of Life. I think that's the name of the album.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I most definitely like I mean, when Stevie Wonder came around, it was more my mom's and pops kind of music. But then when Prince came along and Purple Rain and all those type of stuff, that was kind of more like stuff I was listening to. You know what I mean? I liked his voice and his style too, because he stood out, more than everybody else, and everybody was criticizing him for his appearance. You know what I mean? As far as how he's dressed, was kind of crazy. It was kind of wild, but his voice and his ability to affect people with his music was undeniable.
Yes. Undeniable. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And he has some fine ladies too.
That comes with it. That comes with it. Yeah.
He never was short of that.
Man.
He had enough women that covered,
all bases covered.
Yeah. The other time that I was hearing, do you perform your own music, or is it other people's music that you perform?
Well, presently it's cover tunes right now. I've been working, as you know, I have a day job, so making time to finish my projects that I've started. I've got several recordings that I'd like to release sometime soon, and I'm constantly still writing. So it's a process right now. I need to get back in the studio and get back fully focused on it. But that is definitely the ultimate goal. I would not be a happy man if I didn't release music before my time here is over. So that is definitely my life goal, to make sure that I have a body of work, for the sake of accomplishing the mission, and hopefully for future generations as well, if it's something that resonates with people. But that is definitely the mission.
Right. Now, taking that, what your answer was, how do you? Let me see. How should I say? How do you personalize the songs, or the arrangement of songs that you do select to sing at any particular event that you have?
Basically, it's I have a motto. It's like we pick the songs that people forgot that they loved. So pretty much 99% of everything that we play are songs that are stood the test of time, and if they're current, we just feel we take a gamble that they'll resonate with the audiences. But we try to stay current too, so we're not just a period band where we play tunes just from one particular period. So we're all constantly listening for even the newer tunes that come out to go and add to our repertoire. I noticed lately though it's kind of far and few in between. There's good stuff out there. You got to really dig for it, but it also has to be something that is not obscure. We try to stay away from playing tunes that are too obscure for the audience to resonate with. You could do it, but it'll come across as an original, which is fine. But for the most part, we focus our energy on songs that are proven to resonate with mass appeal.
Okay. Now, this was now I listen to a lot of R&B, gospel. I listen to the whole little spectrum of music. So can you walk us through a particular song that that kind of gives you a personal, like it brings out an emotion for you when you're singing it, like it's like you're telling your life in a sense through the thing, and it kind of like or do you have that kind of difficulty? Do you do songs that are emotionally connected to you when you sing them?
Well, have to think about that. I mean, Purple Rain. I hate to be redundant about Prince, but when I sing that song, for some reason, it does really resonate to a part of me inside. I don't know if it's the melody, the words, or just a combination, but that's the kind of song you kind of can have a out of body experience singing, pretty much. Let's see. There's quite a few songs that we do that are special to me. Say, for instance, the Barry White song, "Can't Get Enough of Your Love." It's like I always enjoy singing that song. We've been singing it since day one, but I'd never get tired of it. There's just something about using that deep Barry voice and everything, and when you can feel the speakers vibrate and you see the ladies turn around like, "Wait, what just happened?" And so that's kind of cool. Um, I'd have to think about that. There's quite a few. I'm kind of drawing a little bit of a blank as far as the others, but we sing so many. We have over 100 songs, so those are probably two that I'd say that resonate with me, and I never get tired of singing. Maybe Al Green, "Let's Stay Together." That's another one that speaks to me too.
Right.
I notice whenever we do
Classics.
that song, people cannot stay in their seats. It's like it gives people opportunity to get up and grab that loved one and just get close for a moment and rock to some Al Green.
Right, right. You know, okay, so let me ask you. I've if following your career, you said you was with different from the garage band to the traveling to the different groups that you've been in. Can you describe the process of collaborating on a song with other artists? Of how you and how you merge with their either vocal skills or the way they're doing the drums or playing the guitar, knowing that you do these same things. Do you ever like what is give us an example of working together and maybe a conflict that you ran into that will make people break up and go into another group, so to speak, and what makes you stay together?
That is a very interesting question. Um, well, like I hope I want to make sure I mention my cohorts: Ron Jones, Andre Smith, Andre Howie, and Hugh Laxonetta, my group members, my brothers. It's like with any other relationship. You're gonna have your ups and downs and disagreements, and sometimes it can get a little heated. What keeps us together is money. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, the love of music. The love of music. So, basically, you just have to be the adults in the room. Just talk things out, and just it is difficult sometimes though, because sometimes we see eye to eye sometimes, and not just with this group, with other groups, because there have been some less successful situations where the groups might have, well, of course, did disband. And that's sometimes it can be ego, it can be the person starts to get a little territorial, or it's hard to take instruction from one person. As you notice, the name of the band is John Demps Full Effect Band. And I think sometimes people don't like to admit that they're being led in a sense, and it's not to laud myself up here and put you down there or anything like that, but just like any good business, you have a figurehead or somebody who can help influence the final say on things, rather than having a bunch of chiefs running around, because then that can form into chaos. So it's good to have one or maybe two leaders of the group so that you can get things done more effectively, and there's no question on what the final say is. And it's not, again, I'm not trying to sound bossy or anything like that, but I've noticed in the past, when you have too many chiefs, it never ends well. So it's good to have structure. And I thank God for my brothers. They do a good job on keeping it together too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, all right. We're gonna pass it. I'm gonna ask you this, and we're gonna pass it on back to Keith for some follow up questions that he has also, and continue on. Uh, do you have any non musical genres that you well? I mean, well, like okay, like you said, you wanted to start doing your own goal to do music. Is there like poetry or literature that you gain influence in when thinking of writing your own content, your own music?
Oh, that's interesting. Well, I mean, I do enjoy reading, and with the internet age, I listen to audiobooks mostly because it's kind of hard to find time to sit down and physically read a book nowadays. But yeah, there are a lot of sources I get my, I guess you could say, my spiritual motivation and encouragement and influence from. Uh, the one book comes to mind, Things Fall Apart, and I forget who the author is, but it's African Tale. And it's something about, it ties into that particular book, how a group of people were infiltrated and influenced, and then they kind of came together and stood their ground, and were able to keep their community together. Things of that nature, something like that could influence me, or just even listening to, some of the other audiobooks I've heard. There's a lot, but yeah, I do draw inspiration from those things. I would say most of my inspiration, however, comes from my personal life and my past experiences.
Okay, okay. Let me ask you this: given that you have a platform, you have a following, you have people that are listening to you, and the words that you are singing can affect their lives. Either, you know what I mean, it can be healing in a sense. Would you consider yourself as a, I don't know, a leader, or a person where your platform that you use can be used for good in the community, sort of like building them up, uplifting them? Do you see yourself in that position? And does your selection of songs, and your the way you perform, and the people that you interact with, and maybe the places do you go, do they reflect that mindset?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I don't think I've mentioned it to this point, but I do have aspirations to start a production company eventually. I'd like to take the local talent that I run across, the very special and talented people, uh, and work with them. That's something I'd like to eventually be able to do, and I'm working on that. I'm collecting names and numbers to make sure I stay in touch with those people, to make sure that we can work together in the future. Because there's so many talented people I meet all the time, and I write my own music, and again, I'm working on producing my own art, and I'd like to help some others along. And I kind of forgot the second part of your question, but that is something that I guess I could say I look at myself as eventually being a leader in the community to help others out with their music. But you had a second part of that question, and I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, no, that was pretty much the answer right there. That answers both of them. You know what I mean? Helping out in the community, leading, giving back. Giving the it's like the inspiration that you have with your music. You're leading others, you're guiding others. You're not just saying, "Hey, I'm out here. I'm just trying to make my millions of dollars and get awards and stuff." You're saying, "Hey, I'm trying to get into a position where I can help others and further
Absolutely.
their careers
Yeah,
and their dreams to being a singer too."
absolutely. Plus, you got to teach up the young too, man. It's always interesting when I meet young people who have an open mind when it comes to listening to the classics. The classic music, not
Mhm.
just the new stuff, which the new stuff is fine, but it's good to have a good foundation. And when I see young people that are encouraged to listen to the classics, all those great artists that came before, it's always impressive. And those are usually the people I end up wanting to work with, on my projects. So again, like I said, I'm taking numbers and taking names. So we're building up a little community behind the scenes, and hopefully we can start putting stuff out very soon.
Right. Let me just ask you that, because I had a question like this for later on, but you just kind of brought it to the forefront right here. Okay, so what do you think about the music of today? Because a lot of the stuff you're doing, that you had mentioned, was more like older generation type stuff, but the newer generations, a little more, more activity, cussing, violence. I mean,
Hmm.
what is your opinion, as far as being a person who wants to do music that's more classic, or more, adult or something. I don't know what the actually dress it up as, but you know what I mean. It's more like, okay, not so destructive
Mhm.
versus a more positive vibe. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, better be careful here because I don't want to come across as a negative, kind of cat or anything like that. But
Right,
I
not
will
graphic.
say, well, I'll be honest though. I'll be honest. It kind of does bother me a little when I see the over sexualization of some of our music. Not because adults shouldn't be able to do what they want to do, but I kind of feel bad for the kids sometimes. The young kids sitting in front of the TV while X artist is twerking on a pole or whatever. And I think it's just a little premature for that type of stuff to be out there for the children. And making it rain in the clubs and all that stuff, the same old themes, money, cash, weapons, drugs. I think we get a little carried away with that. I'd like to see our culture, kind of redirect the ship back to a little more humility, a little more ethics, because it's like I look at our community, the black community, that since we're black and having this discussion, that we could use some course correction. It's not all fun and games. If you look at most other cultures, they're not really out there like that. It's mainly us, although we are at the tip of the spear when it comes to entertaining the world too. So there's a lot of responsibility when it comes to being black artists, because we're usually in the forefront of the influencing the entertainment culture. I guess with such a wide variety of us doing different things, you're going to have some, I won't call them bad apples, but some questionable influences, because there are very classy artists out there too. So, it's just kind of got to take the good with the bad. But I just hope for the next generation that they realize it's just entertainment, and you don't have to be like what you see on TV.
Right. Right. Thank you. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, I really appreciate you mentioning that, John. I think it's important because I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I listen to music, and not as much as Razak, but I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. He hates the music I be playing right here. He don't.
Some of it's good, man. I
No,
wish we had a
I'm
more
I'm
compass.
more driven by what you're playing. Like when I go out and listen to you, and I see what you do, and you bring some of those oldies and you throw some of the new stuff in. That's kind of like um, that's I don't know. I don't want to say respectful music. It's more music that has a meaning when you
Yeah,
sing it. You know what I'm saying? That is what you're reflecting when you're going out there. So, and I don't want to have to go and listen to something where the whole time I'm listening to it, they half naked and going down the pole,
yeah,
or shooting guns or flaring money all over the screen or whatever. I think
right.
that just misses what we have been, where we came from, and how we came over the years with music, and how we were trying to make that imprint on the world, and all of the things that we have to do to be seen. Now we're taking some of that away, even though our new youth are looking at it and seeing it and spending money, lots of money on it. But are they really getting a message from it? So, and that's the part that, or maybe the type of message they are getting is a message that not is not, Then when their kids go out and start doing the same thing, then they want to, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get back in here. Well, you got, anyway, before I go too much.
That-
And,
yeah, well, no, because that's like promoting, like saying, hey, like everybody, like you got the flashy
yeah,
gold pieces, diamonds, bling, and then they're getting the mindset that, okay, as you grow up, you gotta
Got to
shake
emulate
your ass,
that.
yeah, you
you
got to
gotta
emulate
yeah,
that.
you gotta
And I,
dress a certain kind of way, and the fellas gotta have the guns, you gotta have the street cred, you gotta do all these different things, and
Mhm.
and and we're the
Status
pioneers
symbols.
of this stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean. In the older generation, it's like, hey, you don't need to do all that. If
Hmm.
you got good music, I mean, the whole flashiness. So if you're making hundreds of $1,000s, you're wearing that
Yeah,
versus saying, I'm gonna go invest in a business. I'm gonna go
there you
help
go.
out the community. They're not even projecting that. They might do it later on during their life if we have a podcast on them. If they have an interview, you might find out that they're doing something like that. But still, the present image to get that is still making people think that you need a gun, you need to have this, you need to have this. You're not black enough unless you're doing this or talking this way. And you know what I mean? And that's what I was trying to get at with that question. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's something
absolutely.
that bothers me, man. But it's just one of those things that everybody has to work through and try
Yeah,
to do. And that's what's so good about what you're doing and what you're talking about. It really starts off from how you were raised, right? How you were raised.
absolutely.
What you're carrying forward is the way you were raised and the way you were singing those songs. So I like to ask this. We'll go back to your music and everything, but I'm gonna go down the business little bit part of it. But first, I'm gonna ask this question about how do you keep your mental health? How do you keep yourself in tune? You got guys you got in the band, you got the work you got to do, you got the family, you got the girl, you got your all the other things in life you got to do. How do you stay positive? How do you keep all of those things and you know together?
Well, I'll tell you, there's only one way I've been able to manage, and that's just staying close to God. Just talking to God and asking Him for direction and or signs, and just know that knowing that storms come, but they can't last. It's like this too will pass. That's just one of the things I have to remind myself all the time, because there's a lot of stress with deadlines and schedules, because we play a lot of shows, for instance, with the band, and that's just one facet of my life. So constantly busy, have to make sure you eat right and get plenty of rest in between all of it. Uh, like I mentioned, I have a day job, and that can be taxing as well. As far as mental health, just believing that God wouldn't bring me this far and leave me. So I just have faith and belief in the Most High, and that He's got a plan that He's unfolding in my life. You don't necessarily see the progress all the time, but at the same time, I feel grateful for where I am, and gratitude is a big thing for me too. Just being grateful for what I do have, and not looking at the things that I woulda, coulda, shoulda, or wish I had. Because life's a journey. So I'm just taking it day by day. I take a deep breath if I get frustrated. If I end up somewhere where I'm not being treated fairly or something not right, I'll just kick my dust off my feet and keep on walking. Knowing that I can trust God that He's gonna guide me to the right places eventually.
I think you're 100% right about that. And especially if you walk by faith, not by sight, you might even, find out that you can get a lot further in life with that as well. So I'd like to talk to you about business. All right. The other part about this is you are the boss. You're the person that's running this show. You're the person that when people go and I look online, I see you over here, you over there, you over here. You're the person that's on that screen that comes out and make that representation for your business. What is it like being the boss? And talk a little bit about just starting a business. I know you're talking about the band and establishing a band, but what about just the logistics of having a business?
I'm sorry. What was that last part about the business?
Just being able to start a business, knowing, getting your license, doing all of the things that you need to do to make sure you're not infringing on anybody's rights and all these different things. How do you manage all of that and being a business owner in the industry, especially the type of when you're going to different places and doing shows and singing all of the different songs that you do? How do you do that? And you're the boss as well.
Well, it was a learning curve involved. It first started out small, and as we got more and more busy, I just had to learn, on the job training, pretty much. Just and apparently I've had the ability to keep rapport with people. So you just, you learn to talk the language of business when you're negotiating and securing these shows and contracts and all the finer details. It's a lot, but like any business owner, you just basically have to keep yourself organized, and I do have people that help me with that. And I didn't mention my sister Kimberly. My sister Kimberly, she does all of our marketing and the flyers, and she helps me out with the contract stuff. And I'm just surrounded by people who really keep me on my toes sometimes too, because every once in a while something can slip through the cracks, and I have a good team that reminds me, time and time again that some of the things I need to direct my focus on, and for the most part, I handle the overall picture pretty well, but it's a lot to juggle. I wear a lot of hats. You're right. It's a lot. But I enjoy doing it. It's a labor of love. So, it's like when you really love something, you keep your motivation, And there are times when, you get burned out or whatever, but usually, you just have to find a way to re-energize your batteries, maybe draw back and don't go out so many places and don't see so many people. Sometimes you just need some alone time. That's important for mental health, like you guys mentioned earlier. But that's pretty much it. I'm surrounded with a good team, and apparently I have a pretty decent business acumen and rapport with the people I communicate with. And it's just a blessing, just to have communication skills, I guess you could say. That's just a gift from God right there, because he's definitely introduced me to a lot of influential people, and we're able to talk shop. So it comes kind of like second nature, really, So, I'm just surrounded by good people, and they keep me on my toes.
Well, that reminds me that good people is sometimes close to you. Can you talk about, any kind of major issue you may have been through, something, a defining moment or something like that, through your process of going to these events where, what, you may have learned something that changed the way you go forward. And then the other part would be talk a little bit about your family as well, and how they play a role in everything else that you do, besides your sister, your brothers, and everyone else.
Everybody goes through things in their life. A defining moment. uh, you know, I hesitate to get too personal, but let's just say I've had some relationships that didn't work out, and those were defining moments for me. You start to put your life in perspective, and what path you're on, and how to navigate, through difficulties, disappointments, heartbreak, upsets. You know, Sometimes life, can get turned upside down, and you just have to take a step back and, self-care yourself back to good, and just trust that everything is going to be all right. It's just like anyone else, though. Everybody has their personal struggles and defining moments that I can't say anything one particular incident as far as a traumatic incident, thank God, but everybody takes emotional damage, and so you just get yourself back up and do the best you can. Journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. It's like, so those are the things um, that fortify my resolve, because I don't believe in the word quit. you know so I just keep going, and just keep my head up, my chest back, chest out, shoulders back. You just stay strong on that part. I still wasn't exactly sure about the second part of the question you were saying about the
Family, about family, just having understanding as to who plays a role in the family. Your mom and your dad. Have
oh
they
yeah.
listened to you? Your songs. Where they thought about your singing skills and all of
Mhm.
that. So just talk a little bit about
I
that.
got you now. Okay, so uh, basically, just being raised in a musical family is it's a blessing, big time blessing. My father, John Demps Senior, uh, he was we stay in touch, and we love each other, and we have a very, very beautiful relationship. Uh, he encourages me all the time, and he's always asking what my newest ventures are in music, and he's stays on top of all my postings and everything, and he's very actively involved. And my mother as well. She's very encouraging. She's a constant figure in my life. She lives in Virginia, and my father lives in Michigan still, and they're always encouraging me. And like I said, my sister, and I've got two sisters, and one of my little sister lives in Virginia. Also very encouraging. I just have a beautiful family. I wasn't raised in a family with a lot of animosity or anything. We just loved on each other, and we don't always get to see or talk to each other as much as we like. But they're a huge influence on me. Just knowing that no matter what the world does, my family will always have my back. It's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. So, big up to them. And uh, was there something else you wanted to know about that?
I think you did a good job in answering that. I was just trying to get a layout of how the family dynamic works, and I think you did a good job in
Yeah.
explaining that, because that shows through you right now. Just by conversating with you and talking to you, I could tell your background and the love that you're getting and support that you're getting from your family and friends that are around you. It's awesome to see that.
Yeah, I
And
love it.
it comes through your happiness of when you're singing. You can tell that you got somebody behind you, regardless of it being God. You
Absolutely.
definitely got your family behind you. So I like to ask you this question. I'm gonna try to give Razak a little few more minutes, and it's regarding legacy. How do you see your legacy? What are some of the things that you would like to pass on, or what are some of the things maybe you picked up that you like to pass on? How do you see a legacy in your way?
Well, Lord willing, hopefully my legacy will be to be a successful recording artist. Because I definitely want to try to help influence the energy in the world if possible with my music. Just like we talked about earlier, just putting some high caliber talent together to make some high caliber, beautiful music. Something that when you hear it, it resonates with you. It makes you feel a certain way, because music is supposed to be designed in my mind, to provoke emotion. It's like one of the few art forms that just speaks to you. It's like I used to try to think of what is the definition of music, and someone said to me once, and the light went on, that music is about memories. So like wherever you are when you heard that song, or what you were going through when you heard that song for the first time, or why you reach for that song, that particular song, when you're sad, or when you're happy, or when you want to have a good time. Music is amazing for that. There's a song about everything, pretty much. And I would like my legacy to have influenced the world. But God has His own plans for life. Maybe who knows what it is, whether it's for the whole world or if it's just my local community. We'll see. But that is definitely something that's important to me, to get it out there and to be able to leave something for my children and my children's children, hopefully, and just have a strong musical legacy and body of work to reflect on for generations to come, hopefully. So that is the goal, anyways.
I'm just going to do a follow up here. I'm just sorry, Razak. I'm asking about just the fact of being a solo singer. Have you ever thought about just being? I know you're out there by yourself or someone. Do you want to like play the instrument and sing the song and do it all? Do it all yourself? Run over to the guitar, start playing the drums. You ever thought about just being a one man show?
Uh, well, you know what? Uh, there were times when that would have been an aspiration, but I'm actually satisfied in a group setting. Um, but as far as like playing an instrument on stage, yeah, actually I'm working on that right now. I'd like to like whip out a song or two. Uh, like I said, as I'm not an entirely full-time musician, I do have a day job. And if the conditions were right and I was granted the ability and the budgets to just hone my craft a little more finely, I could spend more time on the guitar and the keys and all that stuff, and perhaps become way more proficient, because there's so many people that are so much more talented in that area, and it takes a lot of discipline to play an instrument. I got to the intermediate level, but I'm not exactly a pro. So, but if I had the time, maybe I could do a little better. So, but yeah, that is something I would love to do. I would love to do that.
That was just my dream, man. I was just trying to see if it was somebody else.
Oh, I'd love to do it. Somebody's got to have to finance it, though.
I wanted to trombone. I wanted to, like just get out there. I bought a brand new one with the gloves and everything, man, and I sold it. I just want to play. I just want to make, not I'm trombone, but the what's that one? The
Saxophone.
Saxophone. Not the saxophone. The one that's right here. What's that? Razak?
Yeah, that's it.
A saxophone, not the
That's it.
saxophone.
No, maybe he's talking about the trumpet. It
Trumpet.
almost looks like a French horn.
There you go, man. You want to check and see if you know instruments too.
It wasn't the clarinet, hopefully.
So that's what I want to play, man. That was
Yeah,
my,
that's gonna be small.
that was my dream because I want to be out there singing, blowing it, and making all these sounds and making girls just, all kinds of stuff. I had in my dream, but that was me. So I'm gonna move on. Let Razak go ahead and ask this question.
Man, that's crazy.
Just for the record, ladies love the saxophone more than any other instrument, so that's probably what you're talking about.
I don't know.
It rivals the voice. Sometimes I get a little jealous when I see the sax player walking around the room.
I can't see all that stuff they be doing with that saxophone. They be throwing stuff. I'm not ready for that. They probably stuff at you too. You got to be careful out there.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's touch on a couple of things right here. Okay, so first, let me ask you this: how do you think the Black community, minority community, how can we help out each other and create opportunities for each other, business wise, singing wise, athletes wise, and give us your opinion on that or your experience in even being able to get to the position that you're at and getting these shows and stuff.
Well, that's kind of an age-old question. Our community would do ourselves a huge service if we started, I believe, at this one place, which is to work together in a way that without envy, because I notice a lot of times it seems like people aren't necessarily excited about someone else's success. I think we should start to get excited about each other's successes, healthy competition is fine, but we need to get to the point where we can trust one another better and not have to watch our backs. When you relate to one another, do it sincerely, with the hopes that person will do well. It's like we gotta get back to the part where we're pushing each other up the ladder, so that we can better serve ourselves. If our community is healthy, our children will be healthy, and so on. I think that's probably the best first place to start, is to get rid of the ego and the competition, in a sense that that there's not enough room at the top, or you've got to step on anyone to get where you want to get. Because I've seen a lot of backstabbing and decisions driven by ego or personal gain. I think that that's one of the things that has aided me is not really caring what people think about me so much as just being a genuine person that you can trust. So that's I think the one thing that has probably served me best. So what you see is what you get with me. I'm not worried about my ego or how I look on stage, as far as like I'm so and so, but basically just operate in humility and wish the best for your brother. Your brother and your sister standing next to you, want them to succeed. We need to, as a people, want to see each other succeed. That's the bottom line right there.
Thank you. That was good good inspiring comment right there. I like that was a good answer. Can you share a project or initiative you are currently working on that you're excited about?
Well, I stay pretty busy with the show, so I haven't per se set aside an actual project aside from the album that I'm working on. That's probably the only project that I'm working on currently, aside from the band, because as you know, the band, we play Friday, Saturday every week. I host karaoke every Thursday night at the Shamrock Irish Pub in Murrieta. A little shameless plug. And stay pretty busy, between that, my day job, and other things in life, family. So there's no one major initiative besides getting the music recorded, and that's pretty much where most of my focus goes right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and fully focus on that right now, and you know, see where it takes me.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay. So for the young R&B, gospel, even rock and hip hop people that are trying to get into the business now, or they're thinking about getting into it. Could you walk us through getting like your gig, like getting what would be the process of I know everybody says you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that, but for somebody who's been doing it for so many years, what is the real industry like? Give us a little perspective on how it really is out there.
Okay, well, uh, the main first thing that you need is evidence uh, of your talent. Say you approach a club or venue owner or manager, they want to see receipts. So your best bet is to have get up and running with a Facebook page or Instagram or YouTube page, and have some video footage, some audio footage to back up your claim. There was a time I was in charge of hiring bands for a certain venue, and people would come up to me, "Come on, man, let my band play. My band's really good." And I say, "Okay, well, send me a video," because unless you're in the audience, you're not going to know, and that's a very tricky business when it comes to just taking people at their word. So, the very first thing you want to do is get some video evidence or audio evidence, and then after that, just make sure that you protect your image. You know, um, Make sure that whatever social media you're using, that you don't come across arrogant or raunchy or whatever. Just your image is your brand, basically. So you make sure you protect that as best you can. I'm not saying be fake or whatever, but just make sure you try to have a upstanding image in the community, and even when you're just out there talking to people, shake hands, networking. That's another thing. I started most of my band at the jam sessions in town. You guys probably heard of Daryl Williams, and when he started his jam session at Simply Sharon's many years ago, I met one or two of my players there. So that kind of thing. Get out there and make yourself known. Just be visible, be friendly, be respectful. Like I say, have your brother's best interest in mind, and that will resonate through your handshake. And please, people, when you shake somebody's hand, shake it like you mean it. A nice firm handshake never hurt anybody. And just keep it sincere. Just be real, be genuine, be trustworthy. Um, and that's how a lot of avenues have opened up for me and my groups.
Okay. So that's the dedication of calling back and follow-ups and
Yeah.
what emails, phone calls and stuff
Hmm.
for new people. Now, in this you said you was going to be trying to help out, or you're about to create, or even doing your own album. How can people, or give yourself a plug on this? Where can people who are writers, who are ghostwriters, or people who are trying to be performers, how can they submit their material or their artistry, their talents and their skills to you, because you're trying to aspire to get this like a genre or a stage open or auditorium, or what? Just give us a little more detail on what you're trying to do, and how we can, even as at the podcast, maybe direct some talent that we may know to you or ourselves.
The best way to reach me on that front will be at my email, johndata88@gmail.com. Uh, that would be the most effective way to reach me. You can also reach me on Facebook or Instagram. The information is below right there. And but email would probably be best, because that way I can make sure it doesn't get buried. If I see it come up, I'll star it and put it in my favorites folder so I can check it out later. That would be the best way to get in touch with me. I would encourage people to basically leave a detailed message and some sort of sample of what you're working on, because like myself, I've got works in progress, and I don't have a whole lot of time to develop talent right now. Like I said, I got my irons in a lot of different fires. But if you have something that you're already started on, send me a sample of it, sure, and then I'll listen to it and see what we can do with it.
Okay. Oh, what about this? What if they don't have any, or what would you just give us your opinion on this? What if you have a person who doesn't have access at a recording or something, or give or take, they just got some sample beat off of YouTube, and they got their video camera, their phone, and they're doing that like that. Say that if they don't do that, what about the actual writing of the lyrics? Is this just maybe sending you a I don't know, a printout? Well, not a printout, I guess an email of lyrics with that kind of, I mean, I know you don't have really time to just be reading, trying to figure it out, but can the words, like, I guess I'm trying to ask if somebody wanted to be like a ghostwriter or something like that, but
Correct.
It's not performed. It's not vocally. We're just like, hey, I wrote this song. I don't know. I can't sing it, but I wrote it. I want to see how it sounds, but I can't actually sing the song. You know what I mean? As far as vocally,
I see what you're saying.
Doing it. Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I would encourage whoever feels the urge to go ahead and send me whatever you have. Basically, you can, like I said, you can record, some semblance of what you're trying to do on a personal recorder. I mean, everyone should have access to something. I mean, the phone is a pretty powerful tool. And if you're not a singer, if you want to submit lyrics, I would encourage any and all forms of communication. It's fine. I can read between the lines and see what's real and what's not. So that would be the best way to handle it. Just send what you got. and
Okay.
I wouldn't mind working with a ghostwriter, even on my material, for instance, and it's amazing what's happening nowadays with AI. It's like a lot of people are using that to generate music and lyrics and things like that too. So if you ever get like stuck, I wouldn't encourage someone to, use it entirely, but think of AI like a thesaurus or something like that, so that's another tool at your disposal.
Oh, okay. That question was actually for me because I had some lyrics
Oh,
that I
was it for
wrote.
you? Oh man, sing your stuff, man. We boys now.
Oh my God, man!
I got some stuff written.
All
I
right,
can't
we're gonna talk.
sing, but I can harmonize. And I think it sounds good. But I can't like do this. I mean, I used to be in the choir like a long time ago, so I mean, it kind of sounds good like when I hear it, the lyrics, but I don't have the voice to,
This guy is
But you're a writer though. But you're a writer. Hey, it's
So I'm a writer,
lyrics
yeah.
aren't easy. I'll tell you, that's a skill. That's a skill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll
I
talk.
didn't know we had a pitch going on here. You're gonna cut that out, man.
Yeah.
He's over there.
Send it, man. Send it. You got my
Yeah.
email.
Yeah, so rewind.
Yeah, I got it.
Or fast forward. Nah, I knew
Hey,
that.
keep this on you.
All right, I knew that was you. I was thinking to me, that sounds like. Let me see if we get this all out. This.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I would do the same thing, but I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, but you know
Yeah,
what?
I got poetry and all that stuff too. I got
That's good.
do you say you do the what you call it, the Shamrock or something like that? What is that like
Yes.
spoken word or anything? Do you do that still too?
No, that's just karaoke show.
Oh, karaoke show. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I let other people do the work on Thursdays. I just collect the check.
Can you talk about some of the places you go, and and then one of the things that I worry about, or not really, maybe I do worry about someone in your position, and how do other people receive you? Have you had any like racial issues? Have you had anybody threw no apple at you on the stage or nothing like that? You know what I mean? I just wonder, have you ran across that in your business after you got the gig, and maybe the people may have had a different opinion, or have you had anything that would have made you feel like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that?
Oh yeah, there one incident comes to mind. In between our band sets, um, there's segue music, so we'll have the dance music. I don't know if I'm at liberty to discuss the song titles, but anyways, I was playing this one song, and one of the waiters came up to me and said, "The owner wants you to turn that song off." And I only use clean version, so it was just a dance song. People were having a good time, but apparently it was a little too adulterized for their liking, I guess you could say. But again, I only use clean versions at any of my shows, and I would encourage everybody to do that as well. That's one thing. But other than that, for the most part, most people that I've met have been very fair with me, so I can't really complain. Well, there was one other incident. There's a venue that did tell me once that, and to this day I haven't played there, and I no longer desire to play there. But I went to approach them to get my band into their venue, and they said that our type of music was not the genre they were looking for. I won't throw them under the bus publicly, but it was, those are probably two of the few incidents that I've had, and I just kicked the dust off my feet, and kept on walking.
Mm-hmm. Keep it moving.
Well, that's great, man. Because, you're bound to run into it, but for those young people that are out there that are, nowadays they're more, a little bit more high-headed, and they'll know how to handle those types of situations. And,
keep it classy.
Yeah. And then they start saying all kind of other stuff. They just ruin it because these people know. Like I think about the winery, they know all of the wineries around here. So if you start acting a fool, then they just pass you along. I don't get that guy.
That's true.
You never know where it came from. So,
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the relationship or what you got going on at the winery I met you at for the last couple of times, and I know you're there. I don't know how twice a month, and talk about some of the other wineries that you're going to be at over this month.
Okay. Well, we played quite a few wineries. So we met at, I believe it was Maurice Curie Winery. We play at many wineries, actually. Somerset.
Yes.
Let's see. We played Callaway, Thornton. I'm trying to think. I know I'm missing a bunch. Kind of drawing a blank. I should have pulled my phone up for that one. But basically, the winery. Oh, Belvino's another one. Monte de Oro. Yeah, Julie's Dream. There's quite a few of them. So, they're all wonderful places. We have our favorites, but I'm not going to single anybody out right now. It's just a great experience. I love the winery environment because, it seems like most people that come out to the wineries are, well behaved for the most part. So, excuse me. There's usually not that much drama. That was loud. Sorry. There's usually not much drama. It's really laid back, and it's just kind of cool and classy. Which I don't mind playing at, a sports bar or whatever either, because that's a lot of fun. But that's pretty much where we play in the wineries, and we play a lot of local venues, as you know. Trying to think of the downtown Old Town Blues Club, what's the place in Marietta, the Cove, places like that, Pit Stop. We play a lot of different areas. We've even played in San Diego and a couple places down there, and a lot of private parties. We've done this annual Western Regional Conference of City Governments, where it's a lot of like the county controllers and superintendents, and it's a big ballroom atmosphere at Pachanga. We've played that for the last 3 years. It's been wonderful. Even got to meet Sean McVay. Go Rams! And you meet a lot of people. You just shake a lot of hands. Network, and that's really the name of the game. Is just keep your image right, and that's your brand. And just get out there and meet people. You never know the company you keep sometimes. Just being in a room with certain people, they'll introduce you to something or someone that can help you along your way. So always keep an open ear, open mind, and just make sure your communication's strong, and your integrity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to have a couple things left for you to do for the podcast right now. I want you to talk a little bit about what maybe we haven't talked about. Talk about some things that you would like to get out. This is your interview. This is your time to get out information about you, about the business, about some of the things that we may have talked about. Take some time to do that.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I understood the question. Could you run that
No
by me
problem.
one more time?
Yeah, just take some time to um, talk about some of the things that maybe we missed or maybe we didn't ask you the question about.
Okay.
Some of the things that you maybe want to get out to make sure your viewers are the people that are out there that know you, that come to see you, and you want to let them know something. You want them to know about you, where you're going to be, how to get a hold of you. This is your plug for you. So give
All
you
right.
your business.
Yes. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody who supported me and the band over the years. Even the past band members who have played with me, I appreciate the energy and time you've taken to be a part of the process. But I really want to thank the fans out there. Everybody that comes out, all the places they travel really well. No matter what city we're in, they'll come and pack up the car and come follow us, and it's just really good to have so many people like rooting for you, and you can feel the energy. They're happy to see you, and they can't wait to hear you perform. That's just the most wonderful feeling in the world. As far as where to get in contact with me, just I tell you what, we really do appreciate when you guys click on those likes on Facebook, so that we know you're coming out or you want to come out to see us at these shows. And thank my sister for keeping the marketing strong. My sister Kimberly, she maintains the Instagram and the Facebook and puts out all the flyers. I also want to give a shout out to Richard Weatherington. He's our band assistant tech. He's one of the only people I hadn't mentioned yet. He helps us set up and tear down, the equipment and everything. And that's a huge help because I don't know if you know this about me, but about a year ago, I was walking with a cane because I had injured my back and I had severe sciatica. But, by the grace of God, I'm healed, back full strength. And it's just, just want to thank everybody for all the love and support over the years. And we're going to keep this thing moving, keep it going as long as we can. So, and then hopefully just hit another gear, take it even higher.
Yeah, we really appreciate that, man. We want to make sure everybody, come out to see you wherever you are. We support you 100% here at KF&JF Podcast. Wherever you go, especially if you're near me, I'm going to show up and just be running around that guy with the camera. Just,
Do it.
You know,
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
moving, man. So I don't know if you've done podcasts before. Can you give me a little idea of what you went through and experienced here on the KFJF podcast?
This would probably be my second podcast interview. And I did one podcast interview about a year ago with a good friend of mine, Dante Fire. You can look him up on the stream. I'm sorry. You know what it is? I'm getting a little tired. I forgot the second half of your question.
No, I was just trying to get you to talk a little bit about your experience on this podcast. And
Oh yes, okay.
I know we met recently and we brought you on here. I know it's a little late, so I also want to just check and see what you thought about that, and if you could say a few words about that.
I will say right off the bat, man, you brothers have been so professional and gracious. I really appreciate your patience. A lot of people don't know. I'm sure you had to. You'll have to do a couple of edits because I was having a little technical issues on my mind. On my end, and you guys handled that gracefully, and you're patient with me. I appreciate that. I appreciate the insightful questions, giving me a chance to get some stuff off my chest. Both of you brothers. I'm looking forward to seeing you out in the community and just getting to know each other a little better. And you guys are very professional, and I'm very encouraged to see what you're doing. And I want to see more of your material that you have done in the past too. Like I said, I get a little busy, but I'm going to do a deep dive and see some of your other material too. I really like your format and the professionalism that you guys operate with. So it's really refreshing. You guys doing a great job.
Thank
We thank you a lot, man. We can't tell you how much we appreciate you coming on the show today.
My pleasure.
I'm really excited about going forward and doing more stuff and having you come on again. We're really thankful that you take the time. Razak, you have a few last words?
you. You know, I heard a few of your songs. You know, while you was performing, what Keith brought to us, man. You know, I probably have to go to your website to actually, view some of your other songs you did. But from so far what I heard, man, I just like to, applaud your abilities and your skills. You know, what I mean, not everybody needs to have an award or something or some kind of, you know, billion-dollar status, you know what I mean, and change or stuff. Sometimes, it just the success can be the enjoyment that you have by, reaching the amount of people that you, as many as you can. And those are the people that perform and show you that support, and community wise, you know what I mean, we need, older generation people to inspire, that they're, like I was saying before, not everything's about the big chains and street cred and stuff like that, man. You could be an artist, or musician, on a clean path. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take all the
Amen to that.
vulgarity and profanity in your music. It doesn't take all the sexuality in your music to, get your message across.
That's
You know, and people may think, like I was one of those. I'm always was one of those guys that was thinking like, all right, well, once you they make music in the music industry right now. If you actually look at these award shows and the TV shows and YouTube or whatnot, they make it so it seems like you have to be a certain age. There's like
mm-hmm.
a
Ageism.
big as, yeah. It's like a the gay the age gap is like, okay, you have to be like 20, 20, 21, 22, 3, 23, and then it's like they cut it. It's like
That's
everybody's
right.
like, okay, now you guys are doing good. Then you got like a OG type, Snoop or somebody, somebody who's been doing it for years. Okay, yeah, he got this legacy that he got. Okay, that's why he's doing it. But there's nobody actually coming out and trying to
Right.
do something who's, in their 35, 40s. For some reason, it's like
Right.
we're looking at them like, oh, you ain't got no music, you can't do nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's
Yes.
like, and
Yes.
that's from
It's
put
like there's a
in place.
cutoff.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep thinking, is that a black community thing? Is that a minority community thing, or is that an industry thing, or maybe it's the combination of both? And maybe they're doing this, to drive sales. You know what I mean? To sell us something, or to make our community, in a sense, symbolically, or I guess like subliminally, I should say. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? To kill each other off. For the
Mm-hmm.
chain. You know what I mean? Or for the spotlight. You know what I mean? Because it got to be more than just, okay, you're singing about this, and I'm singing about that, and I don't like the way what you said about this, so now we're beefing. So now you
Yeah.
guys are
The
killing each
beefs.
other off. You know what I mean? Instead of just trying to uplift each other and say, hey man, we're all gonna get on this. You know what comes to mind? Remember that old thing? Because we probably all around the same age. The We Are the World thing that they had all
Oh
these.
yeah.
They
Lionel
had all
Richie
these.
and MJ.
I'm a little
Yeah,
touched. I'll be putting me with y'all age. I'm actually younger than all of you guys.
I haven't seen. I mean, they call them ciphers now. You know, what I mean, little rap things and stuff. But I mean, we probably need to bring that back. You know, what I mean, to
Yeah.
inspire something. And I do. I write lyrics. I have the gangster stuff. And I have the classic stuff. I got nonviolent. I did it all. I went the whole gauntlet on this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I performed and stuff. You know, what I mean, I never did make it anywhere. Like party wise type stuff. But nowadays I still see that still a relevance of that gap, of that in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Your question, to answer your question, it is,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, an industry thing. I think it's an industry thing. For starters, the youth are more easily influenced. I would say they're probably easier to handle for the industry insiders, because the young people are impulsive, more impulsive than say a mature adult. So they'll throw them a gold chain and they'll fight for it. Uh, it's dollar bills at the end of the day. Uh, the simple thought of there even being an age cutoff is basically ridiculous. I know so many super talented people over the age of 35, 40, 50 years old. There's really no reason whatsoever for the industry to blackball based on age. It's actually kind of ridiculous. It's one of the few things that does get me upset. But that's the agenda that they push. Like even with the singing shows, the Voice and the American Idol, those type of shows, that they really push hard for youth only performances and competitors. So yeah, that's, I mean, it'd be a really nice option. It's if they had a show with more mature acts, a singing show or something like that is expressly focused on the more mature artists. That would be a great marketing ploy, a great brand. Somebody could pull it off. It'd be great. Who knows? Maybe, but it'll be us someday.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah.
I was thinking we were already starting to promote it. I was figuring out how we could jump on.
There you go. Now we're just coming up with a name.
Man, need a brand.
We appreciate you, man. We really appreciate everything. Everything you've done. It's just been so inspirational to listen to you. So I'm really happy, man. I'm really happy that we had the time to do this.
It's been great.
Look forward to the next time, and hopefully soon.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me on. Good to meet you, Brother Razak. Keith, thank you very much. God bless what you guys are doing. And like I said, I'll be doing a deep dive to hear some of the other work.
Appreciate it. We appreciate it, and take care, man.
All right. You too. Thanks a lot, fellas.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right.